It's a nice warm morning, and though it's usually quieter at this time of day, lots of people are making an early start. And we are about to join them. We're going to join Britain's busiest motorway, which will take us to a town you may never have visited, and then on to some villages you may not even have heard of. This is one of them. It's called Bekonscot, and it was built in the 1920s in the back garden of a house owned by an accountant who wanted to entertain his family and friends. A gardener, his maid and a chauffeur helped him start work. Now, 100 years later, it's become a tourist attraction, which has proved so popular it's been visited by over 4 million people. Today it's run by a charitable trust which raises money for good causes and gives us a chance to see what life was like here all those years ago. The village occupies a 3-acre site and includes scale model replicas of many of the attractions and buildings which were to be found at that time in Beaconsfield and Ascot. The buildings were constructed using concrete, foam board and locally available natural materials. Today, a full-time staff of 12, with more at peak holiday times, maintain and operate the many diverse attractions to be found here.
Yeah, we've got to get some tickets.
Take a look around and you'll soon be impressed by what has been achieved and by the attention to detail which is apparent everywhere. Many of the features of 20s life in Bekonscot can still be found in other villages which are not far away. These Morris men are still very much alive, and so is the village they are performing in. This is Milton Abbas, a Dorset village where the houses are rather larger than those we've seen so far. It originally stood here in the grounds of Milton Abbey, which is now a school. In 1730, Joseph Damer, who owned the estate then, decided to move the village to where it is today. Only one house remains at the original site. To commemorate the rebuilding of their village, every 2 years the residents hold a traditional country fair, and I went along to see what it was like. Here and in other parts of Dorset, agriculture has always played an important role in everyday life, and it still does today. In our highly mechanised world, farmers can sit back in air-conditioned comfort, press a few buttons, and relax, while satellite navigation leads the way. At events like this, which are staged in this area every year, we can see what life used to be like before farming was mechanised, and when the first steam-driven giants arrived on the scene. In the Purbeck Hills, there are towns and villages which have changed remarkably little over the years. In 1646, during the English Civil War, Corfe Castle was destroyed by Oliver Cromwell's troops. In recent years, the nearby village has seen relatively little change. Today's visitors can stroll round a model village, which shows what the castle was like before it was destroyed. The village is set in landscape gardens with some recent additions. There's also a tea room where they can enjoy fresh local produce after their tour. Trains to other destinations stop almost at the door. This heritage railway first opened in 1885. In the 1960s, it was closed by British Rail. Engines were scrapped, buildings demolished, and miles of track were torn up. It seemed as if trains would never run again. Fortunately, there were many who would not accept that, and today's highly successful railway is the result of their efforts. It's run by volunteers and a small number of full-time staff. These trains have managed to bring the past to life and reconnect Swanage with the towns and villages it always used to serve. While Swanage has much to be thankful for, other nearby towns have not been so lucky. For many years, Wimborne was a popular market town, but in the 1960s, it too lost a vital lifeline. Its railway was closed and its popular station was eventually demolished. It has never been replaced, but the town has managed to survive and prosper without a railway line. When the railway closed, Wimborne opened its own model town, which showed what it was like in the 1950s. It's now a popular tourist attraction. This town does have some rail connections, of one kind or another, which come here from time to time.
Yeah, you can come back and have a go any time.
So enjoying yesterday's attractions today can still be a lot of fun. In this film, you've seen a few of the places I chose to visit. I hope they have encouraged you to make your own explorations. Other films in this series will show you more of the places we've visited, and some others you may want to see. To find out more, just email this address. Thank you for joining me on my day out.
to go on the train?
Yeah. Come on.
Hop on.
Come on.